Hey guys, welcome back. So we have set up the drywall component or module, and we have the sample content, and you can see that they even have the application name in the logo. So what I want to do in this video is I at least want to get our schema up and running for the events collection. And we should also edit some of this sample data. Okay, so how we can access the content is in the views folder, and you have all these different views for the about section, for the my account, for admin, contact. Now to edit the home page, I believe it would be this index.jade file. Yeah. Alright, so you can see here's the H1 that says success. Let's just change that to say community events, and then for the subline here we'll just say sign up list your public and private events. And since it's just a Jade file, we shouldn't have to restart the server. Alright, I kind of don't like it on 2 lines though, so maybe I'll just that's fine. It's not really the physical aspects of the site that I'm trying to focus on. So what I want to do is, like I said, create the event schema, and we want to do that in the schema folder. You can see how there's a schema for each aspect. I want to create a new folder. I'm sorry, not a folder. I want to create a new text document, and I'm going to call this event, event singular .js, and the first letter should be uppercase. Alright, so let's go ahead and open that, and let's open another one. Let's say I guess category. Alright, so you can see that we have exports equals module.exports, which is a function, and it's going to take an app parameter and a mongoose parameter, and we're defining the schema. Okay, so in this case the category schema will have an ID, it'll have a pivot, and it'll have a name. Alright, so I'm just going to copy this whole thing and paste this into the events. Alright, and what we want to change here is, obviously we want to change category to event. Event schema equals new mongoose.schema, and we'll have an ID. We can get rid of pivot. We'll have a name, and I'm just going to get rid of this default. We don't need that. And then we want a comma here, and we're going to have a bunch of other fields. Alright, so we'll have name, description. That'll be a string. Venue. That'll also be a string. And then we want the date, and that is going to be a date type. Okay, so date. Start time, and of course end time, and these are going to be strings as well. And we'll have a username. Okay, so whatever user's logged in when they create the event, that's the ID that, or the username that'll get attached to it. And then we just want a search string in case people want to do searches. And for that, we're going to set that to brackets and search. I'm sorry, not search, string. And we can get rid of the last comma here. And actually for username, I want to set required. I want to set that to true. Actually, it should be lowercase. Actually, name should be required as well. Okay, so that's the schema, and then down here, I'm going to change this to event schema plugin, and we're going to use the page find plugin, which is just really a plugin to help us get and sort the data. And then we need to create our indexes. Okay, so let me get rid of this. And to set the index, we're going to change this to event. And basically, you want to set an index for any field that you would filter or search for or things like that. It just improves basically the whole process of getting and displaying events. So we want name, and I'm going to set that to 1. Okay, we're going to set them all to 1. So let's copy that. And basically, we're going to put all the fields in here. So name, username is important, date, and venue, start time, so start time, end time, and search. Okay, and then I'm going to change this to event schema.set, and then we're going to set the auto index, and this will be in development mode. And then we're going to say app db model, and then we're going to define the model, which will be event. What did I do? Event and event schema. Alright, so not too bad. Just setting up your schema just like you would in any Mongoose, any site that uses Mongoose. So we'll save that. And what I want to start to do is the main events page. Alright, so we want a link here that goes to /events. Alright, and then it'll just show a list of all the events posted by all users. Now to create a link in the top here, we're going to need to go to the layout. Okay, so we want to go to layouts and then default.jade, and this is where all the menu links are. So I'm going to put this right after the about. Events. Alright, so if we save that, and let's just restart the server. And there we have events. Alright, so it's not going to work yet. What we need to do is set up our route, and the structure is much different. Not much different, but it is different than a standard Express site that we've seen. So we're going to put everything in the views folder. Basically, you're going to want to have a Jade file or template and also a JS file. Alright, so I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it events. And we're going to have an index.js. And that's basically going to work like a routes file. Okay, we'll have one JS file, but we'll have a bunch of different Jade ones. We're going to have index, we're going to have add, details, edit, just all the different views. So let's start with just an index view. Alright, so let's open up. We can close the schema file. Can close everything, and let's just open up this index.js and the Jade file, and we can take a look at another. Let's take a look at let's see, admin. Let's do users. So open up that index.js. And we also got to open up the main routes file, which is in the root. And it should be called routes.js. And this is where we're going to define the routes. We're going to define the route and then to which function on the index.js page that we want to call. All right, I know it's a little difficult to understand at first, but it's actually really easy. All right, so we got to think about what routes we want. And we're going to want just /events because we added that link in the nav bar that'll go to /events. So let's do that right here. All right, so these will be event routes. So we're going to have a get request, app.get, and they're going to go to /events and just put a trailing slash on it as well. Then we need to require the layout or the template or the view and the function in that template. All right, so we want to require into the views folder, so views /events/index. All right, and then we just have to add the function that we want. You can see that up here, the about index, they're calling the init function. All right, this one is calling the send message. This is a post, not a get. What we're going to do for this route is call a function called find. So we're going to say .find. All right, and we'll save that and then go back to we'll go to our index.js, and basically we're going to say use strict, and then we want to call exports dot and then the name of the function, which is find. Okay, so actually want to set exports dot find equal to function. All right, and then the function is going to take a request, a response, and next. All right, and what we need to do here is we need to grab the events from the database. Now we don't have any yet, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to go to the Mongo shell. So I want the command line